This is Lefty Dad, and this is part 2 of my beginner's how-to playthrough tutorial of the computer game Afrika Corps by Strategic Games Studio that was released recently. And the purpose of this tutorial is to try to help people who maybe got the game and started it and things were happening so fast, icons were flying all over the screen, things were happening in the battles that went so fast that if you blinked your eye you'd miss them, things like that. That was certainly my experience, and it caused me a lot of frustration, and I was ready to give up on the game, but then I was able to figure some of these things out, and now I greatly enjoy the game. So I'm hoping that by going through this detailed tutorial, maybe it will help people who were in the same position that I was in. So when I left off with the previous tutorial, I had just ended the first turn of the game. First the AI, the Italians, played, then the Commonwealth that I was playing played. So I'm just ready to end the turn. I go up to the upper right hand corner, click that arrow, now the Axis is playing. And it gives me a report of what happened during my turn. In my turn, I got a victory point because I played that card by the commander. So I didn't really win battles or anything like that, but it's now 6 victory points for the Axis, 6 victory points for the Allies. It looks like I had 1 victory in an airplane dogfight, and it looks like I was routed or I was defeated in a couple of other situations. This summary is always kind of confusing for me, so I really don't get a lot of information that's useful from it. Anyway, now the AI is going, and again, I have nothing to do with this. This is all happening automatically. But you can see they're going, they went through their card draw phase. If you look at the upper part of the screen, now they're in their reinforcements, so they're getting obstacles and minefields and trenches that they will use. And that goes over to the left-hand side where they are stored for play, and then you saw it quickly go down to the lower right-hand side. That means the card has been played and is now put back in the pile where it could possibly be drawn again. Now in the middle of the screen, you saw there was a lot of stuff going on, and all that stuff is over with. So there's not really much to do when watching this, but just to let it happen and not worry too much about it. Okay, now I finally get to do something, and I'm being attacked, and I guess you can, I thought maybe I had read in the rules that you could actually go to the map and see where this was taking place, but actually underneath these units and cards and everything, I believe that is the map. And it shows that as in the previous turn, I have a very small chance of winning. I only have a 12% chance of winning. It's allowing me to, this is a coastal region on the map, so it's allowing me to use shore bombardment. But because I have such a poor chance of winning, I'm not going to waste shore bombardment on that. I'm just going to try. I only have 1 unit that I could possibly save. I have a supply unit too, but if I can just retreat in a hurry without getting any damage done, you can see that it has 2 strength points, these little squares. So if I can get through the first round without losing those, then that would be good. I also found in the rereading the instructions that when my units are attacked, I believe it said that things like trenches and obstacles and minefields will be the first to take damage. They only have 1 strength point, and the supply over here is really kind of on the periphery of the battlefield. It won't take any, it can't handle any damage. So I'm going to click up here. It says click to stop playing cards in this phase, so I'm not going to play cards. It may ask me again if I want to. Yeah, it's going to ask me again. and I'll say no. Now it will be time, first the artillery fires, then the airplanes attack, and then finally the land forces. I am not really sure, as I've said previously, why this artillery gets 2 shots, other than I was able to see in my review of the instructions that it has a black circle around its movement points, which I believe means it's heavy artillery. And in the discussions once they said, oh, well, it's heavy artillery, so it gets 2 shots. But normally you go by these little white dots. A division has two dots. Smaller groups have 1 dot. So anyway, you'll see and it's a 20-sided dice, 0 through 19. In order for the artillery to damage anything, it's going to have to be a 0 or a 1. And I should also review up here, the morale is 4 for the Axis. They have an average combat morale of 1. It's really not average, it's the mean, but anyway, it's mathematically handled. And then they have an armor bonus, because 2 of the units are armor, and they have an armor superiority bonus. And I was able to review in the instructions that you get the armor superiority bonus if you have twice as many combat total numbers, attack numbers, as the defense has. Well, the defense has no armor, so it's always going to get an armor superiority bonus, and it has an Air Force bonus because of the airplane. So it has 4 morale, and I have normally 2 morale, but it's also saying that I have a battle fatigue of -1, and I don't really understand why it has a battle fatigue of number 1 if we're just starting this turn. And I guess I'll have to try to look up that later, because I thought you only got battle fatigue if you, within a turn, you always started the new turn out fresh. But I can't explain that. So anyway, the artillery is going to fire, no hits. Now the airplanes, these are bombers, you see the B there, and they have, it says down here, they have their combat factor for attack and defense is 2. So, and they have 2 circles each, so there's going to be 4 shots, 4 dice rolls, 4 attacks, and a 0, 1, or 2 will do damage. They'll probably get 1 damage, but let's click the bombard button. There's a hit. There's another hit. You see, and like I said, the trenches leave. Now, I was hoping, I guess this is just the start of the battle, and unless you have a special card or special circumstances, you have to go through 1 round before you're allowed to retreat. Now I see up here in the upper right hand corner, I also kind of got from reviewing the instructions again that these cards up here mean that they continue to be available to be played. I obviously can't play them here while I'm a defender, but anyway, that's the best explanation I have for why those are up there. So we'll begin the land battle. These forces these attack numbers are normally white, but they're green in this case, which means they've been modified up. And I don't know exactly why they've been modified up. I guess, okay, if you look at the card there, it says they have a cavalry bonus of +1. So normally these cards would have a 2 attack factor and probably a 2 defense factor, but it says, as you can see on the card, and these cards always, if you just hover over them, you can see a lot of information more clearly, and it does say they have a cavalry bonus of +1. So that has increased them apparently from a 2 attack factor to a 3, and also you see that that's turned green. Now if they were being penalized for some reason, they would probably go down to 1 from a 2, and then that would be in red. So these are things that I've learned since reviewing the instructions. I read the instructions many times, but I just reviewed them right before doing this video. So each of these are a group of tanks. They're not a division. So, and you don't really get an idea, I don't think, of how many tanks are in these battles. I guess it'd be kind of nice at some point to know, because you hear all these stories of the huge tank battles and everything going on in North Africa during World War II. But anyway, they're each going to get 1 shot, and their attack factor is 3. So we'll see if the Hussars over here on my side can retreat, because their likelihood of winning has gone down to 7% now. Miss, miss, miss. Okay, I lucked out. And I will be able to retreat without losing any strength points. So that's a good thing. Now they're going to pursue me. And in a pursuit like this, it means that I'm retreating, getting out of there, and they're allowed to kind of attack me as I am retreating. I'm not allowed to fight back. So I have to go through this one more time, and I'm hoping that they again miss so that I can get out of there without losing one of my 2 strength points. So here we go. No hit, no hit, no hit. I made it. So when a unit retreats like that, they go back. Because I was being attacked, it wasn't like I had moved from a unit in to start the battle. They moved into me, but they moved me to a adjacent region, and the computer kind of handles where that goes. You don't get to pick where that goes. Now we're at another battle on the coastal region, and I do have a lot of troops in this, and as you can see, it's a 50-50 possibility of winning. And up in the upper left-hand corner, it says that they have 3 Italian, they have Avante, 3 Italian land units in battle, at least 3 enemy land units in battle. So we do have 3 and 3 on each side. And this means that a great discourse from Mussolini lifts the spirits. All Italian units in this battle gain a +1 morale bonus. So normally, these attacking Italian troops would have a 2 morale, the number in the upper left-hand corner in the diamond. But as you can see, they all have 3s and they're all green. So that, again, that means that they have been boosted. And if you hover over any one of them, you'll see that they maybe only had an original morale factor of 1, because it says below here that they get a morale boost because this Graziani is their commander, and he brings a +1 in morale to any group that he's with of land troops. And then they also get a plus because Mussolini gave him a pep talk. So I guess that boosts them up to 3 morale, and that is really giving them, they also get a armor bonus, and then I don't really have any armor, so they get that superiority bonus, and they have planes, and that gives them a plus morale boost for that. Now I have planes, so I get a morale boost for that too, and my troops average a 2 morale. So I guess maybe when we come to my turn, when the defender has an opportunity, maybe then my morale will get boosted up to a higher level, because it just says 2, but I guess my morale is 2. I don't have a commander that boosts it, that's the thing, whereas they do. So my units just have a 2 morale level, but because of the airplanes, the whole morale overall for my side goes up to 3. But even though it's 50-50, it's going to be probably difficult for me to win, because they're so pumped up from having Mussolini give them that pep talk, they're not going to want to retreat very easily. But I do think I'll use the shore bombardment, because that'll help. Again, it's a 50-50 chance to win, and it says only if there's not an Italian Navy sortie active, and there's not, and there have to be at least 3 enemy land units in the battle. The Royal Navy, it says, delivers heavy gunfire from offshore. The enemy land units suffer 2 random hits before the start of the battle. So we'll see when I play this card if any of these units lose their hit points. The 2 infantry units, or the 3 infantry units, are all at full strength with 8 points. The artillery, or the armor, has maybe they start with only 3, but they only have 3. So we'll see what happens, what the mechanics are when this happens. Now it says shore bombardment, but I don't see anybody losing anything. So this has always kind of puzzled me. Well, what in the heck do these cards do? But maybe when I start firing, maybe when we get into the battle, that's when it will happen. So it says up here, the Axis has played the Avanti card. Now that went into effect, and the Allies have played the shore bombardment, but I don't see anybody getting any hits. But anyway, we'll start over here with these artillery units that get to fire twice, and they have a morale boost, but I don't think morale doesn't seem to apparently play a factor in artillery. So we'll fire, there's a hit, and we get 1 hit, and we lost something up here. Now it does show here that they did take the hits, so as you can see, there was a hit, there was a hit there. They had 8 strength points, so this shore bombardment card did take effect. And again, this is one of the best things about the battles in trying to clarify how things happen, is by being able to look at this. And in order to do that, you have to have these sliders down here all the way to the right. And even like dice animation speed, I have a really fast computer, so maybe on other computers it's not so fast. But everything happens super fast on this computer. Okay, now the planes for Italy are going to bombard, and I guess it says here they have a search bonus, but I'm not quite sure how that affects things in a battle. But anyway, we'll let them bombard. They get 1. These fighter bombers get 1 shot, and this group that is strictly a bomber, they get 2 shots. So here we go, no hit. And you saw that all went fast, and everybody missed. I'm not quite sure why this group got 2 shots, because they only had 1 dot, but they do have a little green asterisk up here, so maybe that is why they got the extra shots. As you can see down here, it's just a 3 for attack factor. Up here, it's a 3, but there's an asterisk, a green little star there, and maybe that explains something. Anyway, I don't think that I'm going to be able to defeat this group, so I think that it would be the smartest thing for me. You can also see that now all of my numbers over here are red, so apparently something is suppressing my ability to, it says have a limited reconnaissance part of this battle. Recon units have a limited round during which they can withdraw from battle, and then the whole battle is canceled. So I think I'm just going to get out of here retreat. Okay, so we retreated, now they're probably going to pursue me. Well, they aren't going to pursue me. Now we have another battle, and this is the same group, so they were pursued by the group that had just attacked them, and the armor is mobile. There is still a plane group that gets to follow them. They're fighter bombers, so I guess they're close air support. And then these armor units, the infantry didn't get to follow. These all have circles below their movement points, and they that means they're mobile and they get to pursue. I don't know why the movement numbers are yellow or orange, but maybe that has something to do with the fact that this is a pursuit round. But I have noticed that all these numbers change colors, and if they're white, it means they haven't been modified, but if they're... Okay, well, I guess what it means is that their movement rate has been cut in half. If you look up there, it says that the movement rate is 0.5, and that's the way it is with all of them. So maybe they're pursuing, maybe that means they only get half their normal movement rate, or they lose half of a point, but that's why they're orange, I guess, is because their movement has been affected in a negative way somehow. Anyway, here come the attacks from the artillery. They each get 2 attacks, and they have to have a 0 or a 1 to make a hit. So no hit, 1 hit, 2 hits, crap. That took away a hit point from the Indian Army recon unit, and it was able to panic and get out of the battle, but at least it wasn't destroyed. Now the plane gets to attack. It should only get 1 attack, but we'll see if it gets 2 attacks, and that has a attack factor of 2, so 0, 1, or 2. No hit. It only got 1 shot. So things have changed. It says down here now that I have a 60% chance of winning, although they have a morale factor of 5, I have a morale factor of -1, due mainly to the fact that I had 1 unit panic and I have a -2 battle fatigue now. Well, I can't retreat, but because I'm -1, that's not a good thing. It means that there will be these checks to see if I rout or panic or something like that, but this is a bad thing up here. And 60% is a good thing, -1 is a bad thing, so we'll hope that the 60% has more relevance. But anyway, this recon unit gets to fire, and it has a morale penalty of 1. But it's up on a mountain crest, so I think that when these units withdrew, they went to a region that was up on one of these ridges like they have in areas of North Africa, which gives them a defensive bonus. So I'm not quite sure how that would affect them, but anyway, they have it has a bonus from being on a mountain crest, as do all of these have a. And I guess the morale penalty takes away a number from the morale, and maybe the mountain crest gives them that point back again, so it's a wash. Anyway, we'll see if it gets a 1 or a 0. It doesn't. Okay, and because it was -1, I think it meant that I got routed, and now they're pursuing me, so that means they get 1 more shot. Now these numbers are green, and you can look down here, there's a lot of stuff going on. I can't quite see the bottom of it. Maybe I'll be able to see it. Yeah, well, I still can't quite see it. But it says that they have a combat factor boost of 1. They have a cavalry bonus, but they're going up a mountain crest towards me, so they lose a point. They have a tactical bonus because they're in pursuit, and they have a morale boost from Graziani, their leader back there, and they have a minus 0.5 movement deficiency. So there's a lot going on, and it's great if you like war games, you like detailed war games. It's great to be able to see all these things that are factoring in. And I think a lot of people that maybe started the game when they first got it, weren't aware of all this stuff. And this is what's really fun, I think, about war games, is seeing all the numbers and the calculations that go into it. But because these were green, it reminded me to try to see how all this was arrived at. But anyway, this is going to be tough. They're only going to shoot once, but they have a pretty high attack factor for the battles in this game. So we'll see. 1 shot, 2 shot. They hit me and they didn't hit me. Okay, so I lost a point up here, and again, this is the AI running things, so it all goes kind of fast. But now this recon, this is a recon air group, which doesn't have a lot of, I guess, those are movement points, so it really can't do anything against fighters and things like that. So it only has a 4% chance, so it's probably going to not hit anything, and then it's going to leave really fast. So they didn't hit anything, and it like got out of there as fast as it could. So here's everything that happened, and now they're sieging some areas that they took back. It's going to go fast, so I really can't explain anything. It shows the siege results, but that's gone too, so I can't. Now the airplanes, the blue icons are going back. You see well, it all happens too fast when the AI is running it. But it looks like we lost 9 areas, 9 regions, maybe that is. They gained it, but it didn't affect the morale factors. So now I'm going to do my turn, and then that'll be it for this particular video. I think I'm going to do one more turn in a third video. You can look through here. This shows, I believe, this means the victories for the Axis powers. Supposedly you can click on here now. This shows air battles that took place. And I really, you know, it shows where it happened, I guess, but it doesn't really give me any information, so I don't know how that helps anything. This shows the battle that we just had, I believe. Yeah, this is the recon unit, and it incurred 2 hits, apparently from my units, but it all went by so fast I didn't see it. And then, so it lost 2 strength points and got out of there. And if I click on here, nothing happens. So you can take the time to look at these things. I'll try to find a bigger battle. Here was a battle. Again, this was just with air power. And if I look here, air power again, we each took a hit here. Well, anyway, then the defeats would be the defeat for whoever just had the turn. That would be the Axis, and we beat them there. They were able to siege this airfield and claim it. Here are the casualties, and I don't really understand why it says movement down here and it says combat here. So it says movement. Anyway, who knows? I'll have to do some more research on that. And then cards played. I played Shore Bombardment. They played a whole bunch of different cards. Okay. Now I guess it's my turn. So I'll do my turn here, and then that'll be the end of the video. So I get to draw cards. This may be a situation again where it'll show me 2 cards, but I only get to pick one. So I'm going to pick Shore Bombardment. And I guess that's it. So now whenever this starts flashing up here, it means that I can proceed to, if it's not flashing, it means that you still have to do something. It's kind of a reminder that you haven't done everything you need to do. So now airplanes return to base, and now I have air movement, I believe. So I proceed to the next phase. Okay, it says I did not move any planes. See, I want to move some planes, so that's nice that it reminds me to do things that I'm supposed to do. Okay, so first I'm going to click on this button down here to show me how many stack limit restrictions there are on the various regions. I think I'll also click on the flags to show me what belongs to me and what doesn't belong to me. And I am a little worried. They're getting close to this air base. I only have one fighter squadron in it, but I think that I don't think that they'll control it. I think that I'll be able to go on the offensive, because pretty quickly in this particular scenario the Allies have to go on the offensive, and in fact ideally you want to push them all the way back at least to Tobruk, but you can get victory points by pushing them all the way back to Benghazi, and I think so. You're kind of expected in these 8 turns to push them back all the way here, as pretty far. But anyway, back to moving the airplanes. So my goal now is to try to move these planes into areas where I anticipate that I will be attacked, and so I am allowed to move them into enemy territory. And I also kind of they haven't taken this air base yet, which I think is interesting, but I mean there's nothing really there. But I think the Italians will try to come up through the south to cut my supply lines, but it's important for me to establish an offensive and try to take Sid Barani and these places back. So I think that I will click on this air unit, and then I right click on it, and supposedly it'll show me where I can fly with it. And it doesn't look like I will be intercepted by anybody, because I think it would show me an orange region if it did. So now I can right click on this region, and the airplane, these fighters will go there, and hopefully that will suppress their planes coming out of that airbase. Then I have these fighter bombers. I'm going to right click on them. They have 4 stack points, so I can move them somewhere, but then no other planes can move there. So now I left click, I right click, and you can see everything that's there. I'm going to send them here, and now if I left click there, they'll fly there automatically. I don't have to drag and drop them. That's a lot easier with the airplanes than dragging them across the screen, because all kinds of weird arrows start to appear, and they don't seem to go in a direct route. So I'm going to left click on these bombers. They do have fighter bomber unit, which is good because that provides them with protection if they are attacked by Italian planes. So now I'm going to move them here by left clicking, and they're not going there. So okay, now they're going there. So I had kind of done something wrong. Okay, now it's going to leave quick access. Tried to attack these people in a dogfight, but they had hit points. There is some kind of a mathematical routine that is done to determine whether one side or the other wins the dogfight, and it is kind of explained in the instructions. It's not really clearly explained. I haven't been able to remember it, but I know there is something of, I think it's a 10-sided dice, and but anyway, that happens really fast. It's all kind of abstracted. Okay, now down here, this circle for what I can move next is dark, so it means I've moved all the planes I can. So now I'm going to go to the next phase, and it shows air battle results. I chose that I routed these people. They got hit, they panicked. Maybe if I click here, yeah, that'll show me a little bit more, but again, it won't explain the die rolls, because that is kind of complicated, and I think for somebody that wants to know exactly why things happened the way they did, it would be great if they could have some kind of a little chart there, a result chart that showed how the mathematical routines happened that caused. I'm sure it happened because this has a defense factor of 1, and these have an attack factor of 6 with the little star there. That must mean they get to shoot twice or something like that. But anyway, now I click this arrow and we're on to the land movement. And in land movement now, I'm going to be able, I have no cards to draw, but I do have these cards to use. So I'm going to, although it doesn't look like I can use it quite yet. Anyway, it looks like I can go right. Yeah, it looks like I don't have any cards to use in land movement, so I think I can go right into moving my units. And I haven't really been able to stage any big battles yet, because last turn, these are my O'Connor forces, and when you hover over the stack, you get a quick picture up there of everything in the stack, and you can see that they add up to 11 stack points, so there really is room for even 3 more. But when you hover over them and then click on it, then they appear down here, and you can see them, I guess, in even more detail. But this is Richard O'Connor. He, I believe, is the Desert Rat as opposed to the Desert Fox. He's a famous commander of the Western Desert Force, and he has a plus here of, it looks like supplies, but I don't necessarily understand. I know that these 2 stars mean that it shows how many units he can support, but that's not really an issue in this particular scenario, because you can't get too many units in a stack for the commander to support. So I'm going to try to move him over here and get this offensive going. And these are all, if I right click on this terrain, the next terrain, you can see the movement cost is 1, and they're all clear terrain. But I think because they have this road, which is, I think, is a good road for Northern Africa, they, instead of using 1 movement point, they only use half a movement point. So I think if I can, before I was having trouble getting this where you left click and then right click, but I'm going to see if I can get this to work. So I would like to attack and get this air base back. So I'll see if I can right click and move, and this will put me right in a battle, I think, with this Graziani. For some reason I'm able to see units in maybe it's because I have these planes over here. I'm able to see what's in there, and I can see that, well, Graziani, maybe he's here. So maybe I'll have my big force come here and try to knock out Graziani here. Yeah, there they go. And I have some other units. Let me zoom out a little bit. I've got these units here, which are now fine. They couldn't move, I don't believe, in the first turn either, but now they have, as you can see, they have 5 movement points. And I think that I will, now I'm going to drag these and see what happens. The game really needs an undo movement, and I think they're planning that at some point, because when you drag it, if you accidentally lift the mouse off your finger, then you're kind of stuck. You can't, if you keep your finger on the mouse, you can get it back to where it was. Okay, so I can move it there, and I can move it there, but it will get in a battle. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's a relatively small force. So we'll go, and we do need to kind of clear all this out and reclaim this territory. So we'll go there. We'll get in a battle. We have 4. I guess it has 7 stack points, so there's still room for 6 more. So maybe I can move this group there to engage in the battle, because they have, as you can see, 5, so that would be 5 plus 6, 11. So, okay, this says some units cannot leave the region. Okay, I think that's like the fort can't leave. So we'll move them, and the depot and the fort have to stay there, so that's fine. But I'm going to click this button down here, then I can see what the land, so we're up to 12 in stacking level here, so that's okay. Now I have some other units that have just kind of arrived, but it's like they're just deploying, so they have a movement factor of 0, so they can't go anywhere this turn. And you can see down here that the circle for what has not moved is dark. So I've done everything I can now with land movement. So now we're going to go to the battle phase. And I don't know if I've ever clicked on this to show you, but there's really not a lot to see. It just says that's the name of the operation. So that, yeah, nothing really to see. Okay, I click this, and now we start having exciting battles. So I get to pick whichever battle I want. And as I explained in the first video, there can be a kind of strategic logic in how you pick the battles in order to prevent, if you defeat somebody, to prevent them from retreating in various places. But I'm not good enough at the game yet to really be able to do all that. So I think I'm just going to take the battles as they come. You click here, you can see this is the region on the coast that has an air base. So if I click here, I'll see where it is. And it is not the big battle. This is just plains, I believe. So we may as well do this battle first. Now, I'm not quite sure why this has a blue halo or a blue circle glowing around it. Maybe it has something to do with supply, but maybe if it doesn't really give me an explanation. Okay, well, so we're going to do this battle, and it was not the kind of battle that it was good, because it now shows me everything that's there, but we have a 4% chance of winning, so I'm going to like hit and run as fast as I can, so we hope we can get out of here without taking damage. So no hit, no hit. They got 1 hit. We're down to half of our strength points, and it's saying that I have to continue fighting, which is kind of a bummer. They have 2 morale, I have 0 morale, so let's try again. No hit. And retreat is allowed. Well, why can't I? It says battle continues, all surviving land units involved retreated. I guess they can retreat. Oh, the land units are going to fight now, so no hit. And now the land units get to fire at me, apparently. No hit. Well, I lost half my strength points and retreated. So now we're going to have this fight. This is another plain battle. It's not the big battle that I'm looking forward to, but let's get this out of the way. Now we have one battle morale. It says the plane's average morale is 0, but I don't know if that's because I don't have any land units, because the morale of the planes is 2. Over here it says these have 1 morale, but then they have an Air Force bonus of 1. We just have an Air Force bonus of 1. So I guess maybe it's because we don't have any land units. It says we have a morale factor of 1. Anyway, these are pretty good planes, at least the fighters are. So I'm not quite sure, because this is a fighter, how this is going to work. If they're all going to shoot at the ground forces, or it looks like they're attacking the air units over here because they're all lit up. But let's see what happens. They each get 2. Well, 3 of them get 2 shots. The fighter bomb. So we have a fighter here. We have bombers, fighter bombers, and bombers. So a lot of interesting things could possibly happen here. So 2 hits, 3 hits, and that's good. They had an army group here panic, and now we're lowered to an even morale rate here. Now my fighter, I was wondering if the fighter bomber gets another shot. Now it doesn't really have a very good attack factor, but it has one of these little asterisks, so maybe that's going to mean that it gets to fire twice, but we'll soon see. So, well, it didn't get to fire twice. And now the land units get to fire back at I think. No, it got to fire twice, so who knows. And we'll just keep pushing the fight button. We're both down to minus morale, so I think this battle is going to be over with really quick. It got to fire, it looked like a 3rd time, so that's kind of a mystery. I don't know why it got to fire so many times, but not a big deal. Okay, now we're going to look at this battle, see where this is. This is the big battle that I've been waiting for, and again, I guess it means it's getting supply from this region. You have to have a connection of 3 regions to wherever you are from supplies, and so this is 1, it's 2 away, and the regions have to be without any, you have to occupy those areas to keep getting supplies, and we haven't really had supply problems yet, and I'll go into supplies more when we get there. So now this returns us to the battle. We're going to have this big battle. This is one where we hope we get to break through and start charging. So now we get to play some of these attacker cards, and we have a 90% chance of winning, so I may not play the card because I think we're going to beat him anyway. We have this O'Connor, the desert. See the desert rat, or the desert, I guess he's the desert rat. He boosts allies, he boosts their attack factor by 1 and their morale by 2, so this guy is really hard charging, and we need to and you can see he's got green here. Their morale is way up because of this guy. They all have green numbers there. They're all 4, so they average 4. They get a leader boost of 1. They get an armor bonus because they have armor. They get an armor superiority bonus because their combat factors are double or more, and they get an Air Force bonus because the Italians on the right side of the screen have no airplanes. So this is really great. I don't think we're going to waste the thick armor on this battle because I think these guys are going to get beat really fast, which is what has to happen. Now, I have to really go on the offensive and get things moving, but I'm going to say don't play any cards. Now our artillery will fire, and I don't know whether we're going to get 2 shots like the Italian. This will be interesting to see. Will our armor get the same as will our artillery get the same as their artillery? They have different looking artillery, but maybe my artillery, the British artillery, isn't quite as good. But anyway, we'll see here. So they have a 1 and these have a 2 attack factor. So no hit. They got a hit. 1 shot each. They each got 2 shots. The old story. But the artillery takes a hit, and this will show you who got the hit. And it looks like these guys got the hit, and you can see down here they got a hit. So that lowered, everybody lost a morale factor, but we got plenty of morale. We're all charged up thanks to the Desert Rat, and now they're down to 8% to win. I think our planes will cause them to panic and flee, but now all these planes get 2 shots except for this fighter bomber. Again, I'm not quite sure how the fighter bomber works, but we'll find out. So they got a hit, they got 1 shot, and their hit happened here. They're still hanging in there because they still have morale, but they're getting beat pretty bad, all things considered. Now it says fight, so the battle starts, all land units involved, no retreat allowed. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to get more firing from the artillery over here. No, it's the ground for, they got a hit. Yeah, the artillery got to fire again, the fighter bomber got to hit, and now they are retreating, and we get to fire at them retreating, and they don't have a lot of, this is their big guy here, they don't have a lot of, if I can get 3 hits, I think I can wipe them out, which would be kind of nice. So let's see what happens. There's a hit, 1 more hit, 1 more hit, there's a 3rd hit. So yeah, all combat's lost, everything's destroyed, victory. I don't know if that leader got killed. If he did, that's kind of a good deal. Now I get to break through, and I had wanted to take this region initially, but remember I said their big leader was here, so I wanted to have this big standoff. But now I'm going to go here, and I know they have some troops here because we saw that when the planes went over. I can't still see who's there, but we're going to break. Now I am being kind of threatened down here, but I think that these troops ultimately will be able to handle that. So we're going to break through here and see what happens. Now this is the battle that I just broke through to, so we'll fight that out. Now you can't quite tell if something good or something bad is going to happen, but we'll see. Well, it's 50-50. We have tremendous morale, and I think we can use some of these, a lot of these cards now. They have, the leader was able to flee, so he's getting them charged up, and these are the things we saw when our planes went in, but their planes are going to come back at us. They have morale of average of 2, they get a leader and an Air Force bonus. We have average morale of 4, leader bonus, armor bonus, so it's really armor against air power. But we do have these fighter bombers, so that'll help. But we're going to do everything we can. Now if we do night assault, all Commonwealth land units receive a plus combat bonus. Air units on both sides cannot fight. Now this would be nice, wouldn't it? We can fight, we can start the battle at night, and the airplanes are not going to be able to do anything. So we did that, and we're going to, we're going to really try to wipe these guys out. So we're going to use our, this is on the coast, so we're going to use our shore bombardment, and we're going to use thick armor. And this says that at least one friendly armor unit and at least 3 enemy land units. So that all meets the criteria. A friendly armor unit suffers 1 hit less if inflicted. Okay, so we're going all out. We've got night assault, we've got shore bombardment, we have thick armor, and now we're going to start the firing with our artillery. And we don't have this is not such great artillery. And I think all of these movement factors are orange because this is we're pursuing them. So anyway, no hit, no hit. They're taking their shore bombardment, all that kind of stuff. So they did take 2 hits. Great. Okay, now here comes our. Now I don't think that the air support gets. It said they don't get to do anything, but they're doing stuff. Yeah, come on, it's night assault. There should be no air units. What's going on here? And they were able to inflict some damage somewhere. But anyway, they've gone to 46 chance of winning. We are at 54%. It seems like they lost some of their morale total from battle fatigue. We don't seem to have lost anything from battle fatigue, so who knows why they lost and we didn't. Okay, so now we're going to do the land attack, which should really kind of wipe them out pretty well, but we'll see. No hit, no hit, no hit, no hit, no hit. There's 1 hit, and they had 1 hit. So they're bugging out. And we get to attack them while they're leaving. So here goes. No hit. There are 2 hits. They have retreated from battle. Okay, now I think we can keep. Now this is where it gets a little dangerous because we could follow them into this territory, but we are really running the risk of getting out of supply. So we'll kind of do a little case study here. So what happens if we keep pursuing them, and then we'll see. We can always, I guess, backtrack if we need to. I think we'd be able to do that. But let's go in and really try to wipe them out. And it looks like at this point we're really encountering some of all of their amassed forces that they had in those areas, in those regions, but we have such great morale, and you can see that their attack and defend numbers are really lousy. They're 1s, and ours are kind of shrinking. Maybe that's because we keep pursuing, but anyway, we're going to do the artillery, and we'll be able to outlast them, I'm pretty sure, because of the Desert Rat O'Connor. No hits there. Now they get to fly their airplanes, and they have pretty good, well, some of them are good over here on the right. So they didn't, we hit our 30th squadron here, hit them, they did not hit us. So that's bad for them. Okay, now we have really good attack numbers here. So let's hope that we can really damage them. Not so good. Well, I think it's going to come down to who's got the willingness to stick out the fight. We've got our big leader here, O'Connor, and they've got their big leader here. So this is really kind of a battle royale. We've gone down to 7 morale, they've gone down to 2. They still have, because of all their units, they have nearly a 60% chance of winning. But their units are not so great. So let's continue the fight and try, and this will become a battle of attrition. There's a hit, there's a hit. Good, good with artillery. There's another hit. No hit, no hit, no hit. See, they got lousy numbers. They took 3 hits, and that still hasn't dampened them, but they're going to probably go down to 0 morale here, so this is really a battle of attrition. There's a hit, there's a hit, there's a hit, there's another hit. No hit, no hit. They're just getting clobbered, but their leader there is keeping them in the battle. So we won the battle. I don't exactly know why we won the battle, but we won the battle. Okay, now this is this other little battle we have going on down here to try to secure some territory. And then I'm hoping I can bring those groups up to make sure that we don't have difficulty with our supply line along the coast. So let's see what this looks like. We have a 73% chance of winning, although they have a little better morale than we do. So we'll see how this goes. We have really lousy attack numbers here, don't we? Their morale is boosted because they have armor, and we really have no armor. And oh, yeah, we do have armor, but we're fatigued. I don't know why we're fatigued, but let's go. Wow. They hit us, and these guys lost one of their 2 strength points. Okay. Now we're lined up to have greater superiority over them. So let's see if that can play out. This is not so good here. These, I guess they're attacking up a mountain crest. This is not good. I guess I should have paid more attention to where I was attacking, because these guys are up on the crest, so they get all these advantages. Maybe I better try to get out of this battle. So here we go. No hit, 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 hit. I think we should retreat. It's not going well here. Yeah, that's where terrain plays a factor, and I kind of got a greater appreciation of that reading the instructions again. But here is how the battles resulted. It looks like up here that I gained a lot of victory points, and that's because I captured those regions along the coast where all the important stuff is. So now we are now this is the first time I've really been able to deal with a siege, and then we're going to kind of end, I think, our turn pretty quickly now, or this video. But this airfield, we took this area in the big fight we had, but because you take the region, if there's a structure like an airfield or a fort or something like that, you don't take that, so you have to siege that, and so that's where we're sieging this airfield. Now I'll show you how this plays out, I think. So this is a little weird. Normally it shows that the siege structure, the airfield, has a siege rating of 19. The higher the number, I guess the higher the number, the worse. I have to go back to it's either the higher the number, the better, the higher number, the worse. I think it's I think it's the higher the number, the worse, because on a die roll, it's easier. You want to have a die roll that's less. Well, I can't quite remember, but because I had a siege unit, one of these is a siege unit. This shows you what I had there. Yeah, see this S? That means heavy artillery. It's a siege unit. So that gives, and then I have just artillery units. So that gave me, so that had that was a 19, and the two modifiers brought it up to 21, which with it, so I think it means that with a 20, so I think this 19 is a bad number. It's the worst you can get practically. And I may be incorrect about this. I'll have to go back to the rules, but because of these modifiers, it raised this 19 to a 21, which just made it impossible for them to win. So I get an audit. I don't even have to roll if it had been 19 or less, there would have been some. This is actually kind of confusing, because for a while I would think, did I roll the dice and I got an 8? But there'll be like a big black circle, and it'll be very obvious that you click something and this die will roll around, and you'll see if you won or not. But these automatic wins are a little confusing at first for me too, because it's like, why didn't the dice roll? Anyway, we got the airfield, and now we're in the final part of the turn, where we get to move our planes into defensive postures, which we're going to do. I think we want to defend along our coast here, where they might try to cut our supplies. So we will send. They're probably going to try to come in over here. Now this is where the drag and drop really is. Now if I just do the total stack, I'm going to go back to here. Now these have, it says it has 4 stacking, and this allows 4 over here. And you can see you see these little numbers here, 19 and 19. That means that the air bases are really poorly defended. They have that 19 siege factor, but total stacking not contained in this structure. I don't know why I can't. See, this still kind of stumps me. I don't know why I can't move the plane over here to my territory. I can move it here. I can't move it there. Invalid move. Move points available 12. The cost is 3. Now I can move it here. Can't move it there. Can't move it there. Can move it there. I don't know why I can't move it there. I don't know why I can't move it there. Well, I'll move it there. We'll see where I can move this. Maybe I can move this here. No, can't move it there. Weird. This one. Maybe I'll move this down here, because I think these might get attacked. And I'll move that one there. Again, I have no idea why I can't move them here. And that is still one of the frustrating. I don't know if that's a bug, or if there's just something about the rules that I'm not understanding here. But anyway, I think I got some planes that just showed up. Well, I didn't. It just means that this has still got some movement points. But I'm going to be done with the... So now I guess the final thing is I get some replacements, which means I get one, I can do one action to replenish some of my troops here, and I think I'm going to give it here, that it'll bring it up to 4, and now there are none left. So, and now my turn is ended. So at this point, I'm going to end the tutorial. I'll do one more, and then hopefully that will help people and myself figure out what's going on in this game.